Dylan, thanks for having us in your parents' home, man.
My pleasure. Yeah,
This
yeah,
is,
yeah.
if you don't mind just introducing yourself to the world for people who might not know who you are, um, who are you, where are we, and what are you most proud of looking at who you are?
Oh, that's tough. Okay, I'm Dylan Carter. I'm a three-time Olympian from Trinidad and Tobago. We're here in Trinidad, in my mother's beautiful backyard that she's so very proud of. She spends a lot of time on these plants. So when you reached out and said, any good place to film? I said, well, my mom has been working on a garden for some years now. This might be the moment for it to shine. Um, so yeah, and in terms of pride, I think it's a tough question, because you're constantly moving forward and personally, I'm constantly looking at the next thing. I don't really spend too much time uh, looking back and saying, oh, that was a good job. So it's actually quite a tough question. Um, but I think I'm most proud of that in itself, in my ability to just keep on moving and that drive to just, you know, work pretty hard at something and take it for what it is, and then take a week off and then get back at it. I think looking back at my swimming career and my career in sport, that's something that I'm quite proud of.
And being a world class athlete, what are some things that people don't know about? If you can give us a glimpse into life, whether it's day to day or just in general, what is it like to be a world class athlete?
Yeah, I think the difference is, people think you must train. People always ask me, how many hours, how many laps do you do, or how many hours do you train? What's your daily schedule like? And it's really not so much about the hours of actually practicing the sport or training your body, but what you do in the other 20 hours of your day. And that's what a lot of my coaches would call the 24-hour athlete, the 24/7 athlete. I think that most people don't realize that it's not how hard you train for those 2 hours in the day, because uh, you train hard for your 2 hours in the day after work as well. But the difference between elite athletes and anybody else who works out hard in the gym is how they live. It's how you live. It's how you sleep. It's how you eat. It's how you meditate. It's how you visualize. It's how you handle the stress. It's how you handle your emotions throughout the season, with changes in results and good days of training, bad days of training, bad results and good results, and how you live your life like that over not just a week or a month, but over years and years of your life. I think that is the differentiator.
And there's two things you said that stood out to me specifically, being visualization and handling pressure.
Mm.
So, can you walk us through what are some of the things that you visualize on a day to day, and how do you tend to mitigate pressures that you find yourself under?
Yeah, well, visualization for me, it comes down to the details and how closely I can replicate um, everything the way it's going to be, or how I envision it to be, and incorporating all the five senses if you can. So, how is the air going to smell when you walk out? And how is the block going to feel, the sharpness of it on your hands? Or, what is the crowd going to sound like when you step out? And so all of the things, and then, as if you've noticed, I'm starting my visualization from the time I begin walking out, not from the time I enter the water. So um, those are little, details with race visualization. And then I think the big one that you touched on was handling pressure, which is, I think, the real X factor when it comes to great athletes and good trainers or strong, competitors. And I don't know if I can give you a good answer for that. I think it's came and went in my career. Times where I felt like I've handled pressure really well, and times where I really didn't. And I think it all ties back into your preparation. If I can give you an honest answer, I think that it would be you could handle. I personally can handle pressure really well if I feel like I'm really well prepared for that condition. Like getting up to give a talk or something where you know that any question that comes at you, I'm going to answer that because I'm super prepared. I know this topic better than anybody else in this room. So I'm not nervous to stand up and talk to you about it because if you ask me about X, Y, or Z, I know what I'm going to say. So I think that being really prepared can always help with dealing with stressful situations.
Right. And do you remember this post-race interview you did at last year's Olympics? The interviewer touched on this concept of pressure, and you responded by saying that having been the third time at the Olympics, there was a lot more pressure than when you showed up as a rookie and carefree, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting paradox, isn't it? Because to some extent, you were less prepared as a rookie, and that carefreeness made you dissipated that feeling, that weight on your shoulders.
Yeah, there's levels and layers that you can go on into it, right? And I think that's something that holds true for a lot of people. I think being young and not fully grasping the gravity of the situation is a huge advantage. And yeah, I think that a lot of athletes can get into a point, our biggest enemy is ourselves, right? And there's no pressure that you or some journalist or your parents or your friends or your girlfriend or can put on me that is more than the pressure that I put on myself. So as you get older and get on in the sport, you have to kind of maybe find new ways to deal with these things that you never really even thought about as a teenager. When you're as a kid in sport, you just have it a good time. You don't start to think about all of these other things.
And in this context, what does the word unlearning mean to you?
Wow, that's tough. Yeah, I guess when you say unlearning, it's coming full circle, right? So it's leaving that 17 or 18-year-old, 20-year-old boy who went to Rio 2016 and making this long journey of learning all these things that different ways to do things better, and then coming back to the innocence that you left in the beginning it was there all along, right? So maybe I'm somewhere along that loop. I couldn't tell you exactly at what point, but hopefully I find it back.
Love it, man. Right, so to bring things up to more recent times, the World Aquatics Championship.
Yeah.
Can you talk us through a bit about leading up, your preparation for this event, the execution, and in hindsight, how you felt about it and what you thought you could have learned differently?
Yeah, it was, I would say the past year since the Paris Olympics has been emotional. It's been tough to manage. And, 29 years old, you start to, yeah, I think that maybe my preparation wasn't the best. And hopefully I can take away a few things from it going forward, into the next 3 years. Should I go on to LA? I can maybe learn from this season a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine it's tough.
Yeah.
So, I guess in terms of where you at currently as we speak, just staying in the present moment.
Yeah.
What are you currently working on, and what are you looking forward to at the moment?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm trying to do, right? I'm trying to just take it day by day at the moment and find that that innocence and that love that we spoke about 5 minutes ago, and not set too many long-term goals, but just look at the process and the day-to-day, and look at things, really, really immediately, like what's staring you in your face. If it's the Swimming World Cup in October, and work towards that and assess things along the way that way. And yeah, just try and find that love and creativity, and do things in a way that I like and I enjoy, and not feeling sort of what I should or shouldn't be doing, or trying to constrain things into a box, but going in there with a bit of open-mindedness and just doing what I feel like doing, because I think at the end of the day, a happy athlete is a fast athlete. So even if you're missing a little bit of salt or a little bit of sugar, as a chef would put it, if there's heart and soul in the dish, maybe you could that can make up for some aspects that are missing.
Well, that makes me very curious as to what are some of the things that are bringing you joy in the world of swimming at the moment.
Yeah. I've been pretty fortunate to have great family support throughout my journey as an athlete. So my dad has been working a bit closer with me over the past couple weeks, heading into the World Cup here. So I've been pretty grateful for that. I've been enjoying our little sessions, and I've been having a lot of talks with close friends. I think I've been really enjoying hearing from people that are close to me, and getting their opinions, and incorporating their outsiders' opinions into the way that I'm doing things. And then if we're talking about details, I always love, I love challenging the status quo. So anything I can do in training that I feel like nobody's doing this today, that I love. So if I can show up at the pool and feel like my warm-up was something that none of my competitors could have even dreamt of doing, then I'm having fun.
Like what would be a type of warm up to say who else is possible?
I don't know. I challenge myself with that every day, right?
Yeah.
Because now, with the age of social media, everybody's posting everything. So all of the things that you were like, haha, this is my secret warm-up that nobody knows about, somebody's done it and posted about it, and now they're doing your secret warm-up. So it takes away that it does suck a little bit of joy out of things. But I like to get creative. Lately, I've been playing with a little bit of gymnastics. So I've been working on some different things, like my handstands or like my standing gainers, just different aspects of body control. And swimming is such a repetitive sport that you need to find something to do differently every season. And then hopefully after 10 years, you have like all of these amazing skills that have taught you a little bit more about your body and how it works. And then you can take it with you as little tools into a 20-second race.
Yeah. You touched on something really profound there, being in the public limelight, so to speak. How important is privacy?
Yeah.
And not sharing everything with the world, like your secret warm-up?
Yeah, it's like almost impossible now, because gone are the days of it's almost not good enough for an athlete in an Olympic sport to just be a great athlete anymore, because you have to make a living through social media or self-promotion, which is not really natural for me, and it's not something that I really enjoy a lot. I've never been, my family has always instilled humility in me from a very young age, and so it's really counter against everything that I was ever taught. This new world of look at me, listen to me, here's what I'm doing, I have the formula, look at this product I take. So yeah, I don't want to say I reject it. I wish I could, because as an athlete, you need it now to some extent. But I try not to be too I feel better when I'm not tapped into that world as much.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you see any correlation between not just yourself, but athletes in general and performance artists along this concept of feeling this need to put yourself out there and you in yourself are a brand and a
Yeah.
business.
Yeah. Definitely. It's that. I mean, it's everything now. It's not just performance artist. It's your, I don't know, your local, your personal trainer, your dermatologist, your, everybody has a social media now, and everybody's like pushing their own thing. It's yeah, it's definitely real, and it's happening, and uh, it's such a new weird world to operate in as an athlete. As an athlete, back in the day, an athlete had a platform because they were on television, right? And nobody else was, or few people were. So when you walk out at world championships and you had Finniss on your cap, this was your platform, and you see it, and all the kids want to wear the Finniss cap like Michael Phelps or whatever. But now everybody's got a platform, so how do you know who to listen to? How do you sift through the noise when everybody's talking at the same time?
Yeah, it's an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself being strategic in pulling back and only sharing what's necessary, or how do you
Absolutely.
navigate that world
Absolutely.
of what to share and what to keep private?
Yeah. Pretty much now, if it doesn't have to be out there, I'm not sharing it. Yeah. Um, but that's just me.
And since we're here talking about you, are you open to telling us a bit more about this master's degree that you're pursuing, and
Yeah.
what was the thought process behind um, studying, and what your vision is with applying what you're
Yeah.
learning?
Yeah, I'm doing my master's degree. I'm almost done in sports management. Um, I'm really, I had maybe a little bit of a reflection a couple of years ago where I was like, I did my bachelor's in environmental studies, and it was something that I thought was really interesting. But I had all of this life experience in sport, and I was just starting to think about like, where can I make the most impact? Like, where can I guess, in a way, change things for the better, help my local community, my country. Um, what is the best avenue for me to do that? And I just felt that it was through sport. Um, so I'm still competing, but I had taken maybe a year or two off after my bachelor's, and I was like, while I'm still competing and I'm heading towards Paris, it would be great to continue my search for knowledge, learn a bit more, further my education, and also foray a little bit into sports admin and sports politics through World Aquatics, which I've been fortunate to do. And one thing kind of led to a next, and now I'm almost done with that master's degree, and I've got a bureau position at World Aquatics that I'm, incredibly honored to be a part of, and really excited to find some way to put all of this knowledge and experience in sport back to work in a long-standing way beyond just times or medals or results.
Right. You had a conversation with Miss World Trinidad and
Yeah.
Tobago, Annalise Lanza,
Mm-hmm.
that touched on this concept of the correlation and interconnectedness of sports and athleticism with being more connected with the environment.
Mm.
So, are you thinking of ways to take your bachelor's degree and merge it, or are you gonna let that?
I don't know. I mean, not actively, but I think there is a link there somewhere. Um, I don't know exactly what it would be, but I think time will tell how I can, maybe it'll come to me at night or something at some random time.
Right.
But I think that eventually there will be some link. Being from a beautiful Caribbean island too, and growing up around nature, and there's got to be some way we can put it together.
And just a final question here. Um, what is your pulse on the state of the sport of swimming in Trinidad at the moment? And what are your hopes for generations behind you, looking at you, getting involved with
Yeah.
swimming?
I think swimming is in great hands. I think we've got a really stellar junior in Liam Carrington, who just tore up the World Juniors. I think we also have some rising stars in Nikolai Blackman and Zarek Wilson. And I think that we've got more depth to our swimming now than we have in a long time. I don't keep too close a watch at levels below the World Junior level, so I couldn't really tell you or give you a educated opinion on what's going on in the really grassroots level. But I think I'm trying to do my part by blazing the trail and cutting the bush. Where George cut a whole lot of bush, and Sebastian cut a whole lot of bush before him too, and the list goes on and on. So I'm trying to cut my own little section of bush there, and hopefully in a few years we have cleared out a little plot for ourselves in the world of aquatics.